Brenner Mills, Minnesota Vikings. Just want to win one before I die.
Lane Cooner, the conductor of the Baker train.
What is up, everybody? If you clicked on the video, you know what's up. We're about to talk Lamar Jackson versus Josh Allen for the MVP. And I would just like to start the video by saying three things. One, like the video. Two, subscribe to the channel, please. And three, I am team MV3 Lamar Jackson all day. I know Josh Allen's looking real impressive, but we're going to get into the video. We're going to talk about it a little bit to start off. Then we're going to do the normal stuff on the rest of the podcast. And so let's start. Spoon, where do you side in the debate of Josh Allen and Lamar Jackson?
Well, first of all, you're never going to – I just want to point out that you're probably never going to see a running back win this award.
Yeah,
Ever.
never again. Never again.
Never again, yeah. Sorry.
We already
We've seen it before, but it's not going to happen ever again.
No, nobody's as good as prime Adrian Peterson.
It sucks for sure because I feel like Saquon is having such a good year right now. And, I mean, honestly, Christian McCaffrey had a great year last year. But it's like it always comes down to a conversation between a couple quarterbacks every single year. And honestly, right now, I think I'm leaning more towards Josh Allen. It's not really a stats thing, but I'm leaning.
Oh, that's fair. That's fair. And we'll get more into that. I do want to say before we move on to the quarterbacks, the running back thing, you have to do what Saquon is doing, but he would have had to have done it on the Giants roster. Like if he were to win MVP, like think about Adrian Peterson rushing for 2,000 yards. His quarterback was Christian Ponder. He had like the 22nd overall defense. Like he didn't have anything else around him to be good. Like Percy Harvin was on that team, but he was hurt for the second half of the season. Like he didn't have any other weapons. So, I mean, no offense to Saquon, but he has, A.J. Brown, Devonta Smith, the best O-line in football, Jalen Hurts, who's a fantastic rushing threat. So he's just got a lot around him that I think takes away from the voters' mentality of giving him that award. But I do agree that I would like to see a position other than quarterback win it sometimes. Yeah. But you said you side with the Josh Allen. I'm going to bring up the statistics of
I already know who wins in this is the statistic battle. I get it.
Yeah. It's not close. Here, zoom out a little bit so you can see it on the other side of us here. Ooh, if I can get the scroll bar, there we go. So we have Mr. Jackson, as Mike Tomlin likes to call him, and we got Superman. And statistically, it is not close. Statistically, Lamar wins almost every category. His team is getting more yards after the catch. I don't know. Lamar does have better weapons. Like, let's be honest, he has better weapons.
That's kind of where I come in. Like that's where the Josh
Allen has a way better defense. Way better defense.
That's fair. Which we thought this defense was going to be terrible this year.
Yeah, I agree. I thought they were going to be garbage. I thought this whole team was going to be garbage. And Josh Allen is doing the more flashy thing, but Lamar is he's leading the NFL in scrimmage yards. He's throwing the most touchdowns, or second most touchdowns, I should say, second in total passing yards. I just have a hard time. Knowing that he doesn't have a defense to help him win games, and they're still winning. It's not like they're losing all the time. It's hard for me not to go Lamar. But continue, sorry.
No, I was just going to say that I feel like whenever it comes to the Buffalo Bills, a lot of people were down on them this year. We all expected Baltimore to still be a playoff team, but a lot of people, like including us, we all figured that Buffalo was going to have a down year. They probably weren't going to make the playoffs, and here they are at number one in our power rankings right now.
Yeah.
So if you haven't seen the video, spoiler alert. But
yeah, you go check that out on the channel. It's as I say, it's in the 2024 playlist. Go check it out on the channel down below.
I do think the weapons though kind of comes into play because definitely having Derrick Henry, who's second in rushing yards right now in the league, 100% opens up that passing game, makes it a lot easier. And I get that Buffalo has James Cook, who's also doing excellent this year.
Really good running back.
really good running back. He's kind of having a breakout year right now, but none of us knew that. We all knew who Derrick Henry was. That's why I lean more towards Josh Allen, just because, like I said, it's a weapons thing. I feel like we all doubted him. Josh Allen's just showing that he's still that guy.
I just feel like if Josh Allen had Baltimore's defense, he'd have less wins than Lamar, and that's where it sits with me.
I mean, I think you could take away a couple wins, but
I mean,
take away 3 or so.
The Ravens have like the 26th ranked defense right now, and Buffalo has like the 8th or the 7th. Like, it's a big discrepancy. Like, I don't think the Buffalo Bills would be winning as many games if they had the same defense as the Ravens have right now. And that's not Lamar's fault. That's not Josh's fault. Like, I'm not putting that on either of them. I just think what Lamar is doing, leading the league in all the categories, and it's just really impressive to me. The big knock on him has always been he's a runner, not a passer, and he's second in the league in yards and touchdowns for passing. So he's doing everything that people said he couldn't at the highest level he possibly could. So, but with that,
I personally don't think you could go wrong with either pick.
Yeah.
Whoever it is that picks these awards, which I really don't know who it is, but
it's the AP media, so just the Associated Press. So there's
don't know who they are.
Members,
don't know who they are.
Yeah, Hall of Famers, media members, tons of people. So, but with that, let's move on to the regularly scheduled part of the program. Our biggest winners from the previous week. Every year or every week we do our biggest winner from the previous week, our biggest loser from the previous week before we move on to the next. And do you want to go first? Or you want me to go first?
You can go first.
All right. So my biggest winner from last week, let me pull up my notes here, is Bryce Young. Bryce Young has been balling out the past couple weeks. He goes toe-to-toe with the Kansas City Chiefs and then leads a game-winning drive against the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Now, unfortunately for him, he plays for the Panthers, and the Panthers were able to give up the lead with 29 seconds left and go to overtime, and he ends up losing in overtime. But, I mean, he has the third highest passing grade of any passer via Pro Football Focus over the past 3 weeks since he started starting again, only with Sam Darnold and Jared Goff being above him over the past 3 weeks. He's thrown for 561 yards and 2 touchdowns with an average depth of target of over 10 yards down the field. Dude is slinging the rock all over the field. He's not like, they're not just getting him in a rhythm of dumping off screens and throwing slants. He's pushing the ball down the field. He's hitting targets. He's led game-winning drives in both games against the Chiefs and a division opponent in the Bucs. Now, they didn't actually win those games, but a game-winning drive is to take the lead with under 2 minutes, and he did it in both games. Dude's balling out, and for that reason, he is my biggest winner.
Cool.
What you got?
So my biggest winner is, I'm just going to go with the Seahawks.
Yeah.
So they battled back to beat the Jets. I know the Jets are a bad team, but they're still quietly sitting first in the NFC West right now at 7-5. And I think that, I don't know, I just think that it was a decent win for them for sure to be able to battle back and beat the New York Jets. But yeah, that's kind of all I got. There was a bunch of other winners that you could pick, but I think that one stood out a little bit. The fact that they're still quietly just first in the NFC West and no one's paying attention to them at all. Yeah,
no, I agree. I feel like the NFC West is kind of getting swept under the rug because they're just not all performing as well as they should.
Right.
But nonetheless, they're sitting in first place with a chance to control their own destiny. But that brings up my biggest loser, the New York Jets. The New York Jets are absolutely right now. They have Rodgers, who has claimed he wants to be back next year, but let's be real. They're bringing in a new GM next year, a new head coach. They're not going to want Rodgers. They're not going to be like, yeah, come back and play for us. Like, Rodgers has proven he can't win games anymore. He's not who he once was. One of our biggest questions this offseason was, are we going to get 2021 MVP Rodgers, or are we going to get 2022 Packers bust Rodgers? And we are clearly getting 2022 Packers bust Rodgers post Achilles surgery. So he's not what he once was. No brand new GM is going to hitch their career to Rodgers at the end of his. Like, no brand new GM is going to be like, yeah, we want you, and I want to put my career on your back. Like, no. They're going to go out. They're going to find their quarterback of the future. They're going to draft. They're going to bring in big defensive free agents and try to build the defense while a young quarterback gets underway on a cheap contract. So the Jets are just, and they don't have a whole lot of draft capital coming up. They're just in a bad situation overall.
Yeah, I couldn't agree more. You could pick them just about every week.
Yep.
Biggest loser. So the biggest winner was the hard one for me. I couldn't really place who I wanted the biggest winner, but biggest loser, boy, were there a lot.
Yeah.
In my opinion. So first of all, shout out Matt Eberflus. And Caleb Williams. So I don't know how they didn't kick a field goal there, which
I was gonna do
awful.
it. I was gonna do the Bears, and then I was like, man, I pick on the Bears a lot. I should lay off the Bears a little. It is too easy, man. I mean, how do you not? I mean, I am standing in front of it. You told this story that you weren't watching the end of that game, like right then, on our top 10 video, but I said it on that video too. I was screaming at my TV at 15 seconds. Call a timeout. Call a timeout. Call a timeout. Call it all the way down to 8 seconds. I'm like, they're not going to call a timeout. And then he snapped the ball with like 6 seconds left and then throws it up into double coverage to DJ Moore. And I'm like, or Roma Dunze. And I'm like, what are you doing? Like, if you're going to snap it under 10 seconds, you throw a quick out, right? You throw a quick out, something to try to leave some time left on the clock. But they were like, nah, we're just going to run a play. We're just going to run a play. Fuck overtime. We don't want overtime. We're just going to try to win it from the 35-yard line. Dumb. Very, very, very dumb. All right. What were you going to say?
Oh, I was also going to say home teams on Sunday.
Yeah.
Big L for you guys because 8 out of 11 home teams lost on Sunday. So if you were home, that's kind of rough. Also,
some people just can't get it done at home.
Yeah, unfortunately, a big L for the Jaguars losing Trevor Lawrence, in my opinion. I think.
Ooh, yeah.
Yep.
Alshire got a 3-game suspension for that hit. Now he's had some other stuff that seemed kind of dirty that weighed into that, but I think 3 games for that hit was kind of low. Like I expected like a 5-game suspension that was appealed to 3 because they'll probably appeal this and get it moved to 2.
I mean, I saw the coach. I can't think of the freaking Houston coach's name right now. Don't know why.
DeMeco Ryans?
DeMeco Ryans. And then whoever you just said that hit him. I mean, I saw the interviews and they both they were both super nice about it. Said that they didn't mean to, obviously, but whenever you watch it, that hit is just scary because you saw Trevor Lawrence already gave himself up. He was already sliding, and at that point, he definitely should have eased up a little bit, and he definitely could have eased up a little bit on the hit, but he didn't slow down at all. Just flew right in, and oh man, it was not pretty.
And I mean, I'm gonna say it. There's a certain responsibility I think that needs to be moved to the quarterback on these hits. And I know that sounds crazy. Like, what do you mean he slid? Like, he can't do anything more than that. Like, I think that if quarterbacks are gonna run, they should be runners. Like you're now a runner. You don't get to just slide. Like that's not how this works. Like if you're going to go out in the field of play and run like a football player, you're now a running back. If a dude wants to lay the boom, you're free game. If you don't like it, stay in the pocket. And I know I'm in the minority on that one. Tom Brady talked a lot about it, about how he got his clock cleaned back in like 2001. And the team the next day was like, hey, dude, you either got to slide way early or you got to stay in the pocket because they're trying to take your head off. Like any defender that can get their hands on you, they're going to try to kill you. So like either slide earlier or stay in the pocket. And that's kind of where I'm at with it. Either slide way earlier, like slide when there's nobody near you, or stay in the pocket or behind the line of scrimmage. Get rid of the ball. Something else, because I am sick and tired of not in this one specific instance, because Trevor Lawrence was definitely sliding and he went in for the head. And I don't think Allgeier's a dirty player. I just think he's a light switch player. And what I mean by that is like they flip a switch when they get on the field, right? Like they're on the field, flip switch. I'm here to beat you. I'm here to beat you at any means necessary. Like, and I like that about in a defensive guy. And I don't think he's a bad person. Do I think it was a dirty hit? Yeah. Do I think he's a terrible person and should be banned from the NFL? No. I think the NFL should look at it from a less of a supporting quarterbacks in the way of like, hey, we're going to baby you, and more of a, hey, you need to stay in the pocket then. If you don't like it, don't run. So,
I mean, lately you've been seeing a lot more. Obviously, we've come to a new quarterback age especially over the last, I would say, like decade or so.
A lot more
where
mobile.
you see a lot more mobile quarterbacks, and I mean, the only way to stop that is to be like, hey, you're going to treat him as a running back now, and if you get hit, you get hit.
Yeah, I like it.
And then that'll help the defense out because now the defense doesn't have to worry about, oh, am I hitting? Did I hit him too early? Did I hit him a little too hard? Like, it's going to take that out completely. It's going to make it a lot easier on them. So I don't know. I see both sides.
Yeah, absolutely.
Kind of. So I'm not really going to pick a side on which one I'm on, but
I am absolutely good with them protecting quarterbacks within the pocket because the quarterback is standing still and defenseless most of the time. Like when they're rearing back to throw, they can't brace for a linebacker to put his helmet into their face mask. Like I'm totally good with protecting them then. I'm not okay with protecting them when they're running down the field and they're straddling the sideline and a dude comes to lay the boom and they step out real quick. Not okay with like, no, you were in the field of play and you stepped out at the last second. Not the way to go about it.
Yeah, because then you get plays like Mahomes where he just he acted like he was he acted like he was going out of bounds and the defender just kind of went easy on him and then he just cut right back inside and gained another like 10, 15 yards from it.
Well, there was the play against the Lions, and I'm no Lions fan by any means, as you can tell. There was a play against the Lions for Mahomes where he was like within the hash marks, like middle of the field, and he went to like kind of fake slide and he saw the defender let up, so he just kept going. Like he didn't ever start the slide, but he kind of started to slow up. He saw the defender pull up. He's like, oh, okay. And then he kept going. And it's like, how are you going to let guys do that and then punish them when they just lay the boom anyways? So I think I'm not a fan of it. But the NFL is a multi-billion-dollar organization. They got lots of smart people to make decisions. They're certainly not watching our show yet. So are you ready to be held accountable?
I'm sure it wasn't good.
It wasn't terrible. It was very average. So for those of you who don't know, every week throughout the offseason, we would predict 1 week at a time an entire NFL schedule for that week. So, this was in May, June, July, August, throughout the entire offseason. We did a week a show. And so now we look back and see how right or how wrong we were. So I'm going to pull that up now. And here you go. As you can see, we were 9-7. Not terrible, not great. Last week we were 9-4. That moves us to 108-88 on the season. That's a win percentage of 55% on the season, which is pretty good if you ask me, considering that we were doing these literal months in, back into August, July, and June, way back before, we knew which free agents were going to be where, whose coaches were going to be where. I mean, we didn't know so many things, injuries, all that kind of stuff. So as you can see, we predicted that Chicago would get the dub over Detroit on Thanksgiving. Dallas, Green Bay, and Kansas City all get wins. Atlanta losing to the Chargers. Cincinnati losing to Pittsburgh at home was a rough one, but that was a great game. Houston, Minnesota, Indy all getting dubs. The Jets losing. Obviously, the Jets are a huge bust this season. Washington, Tampa Bay, and the Rams all getting wins. And then Baltimore losing, San Francisco losing, and Cleveland losing. I'm sure we all would have picked these two differently. I would have stuck with Baltimore.
I probably would have went with the Eagles.
That's fair. But so either way, we're not far off.
I was going to say back to that Cincinnati Steelers game real quick. I just want to so the Steelers basically just showed us that if their defense has an off day, their offense is right there to pick up the slack.
Yeah. Yeah. I agree.
I didn't even think about that, but must be nice to have.
No, I agree. Their defense looked awful. Joe Burrow has been tearing it. Joe Burrow should be in the MVP race by all means, but because they're losing games because of that terrible defense they have in Cincinnati, he doesn't have a chance. So overall, like I said, 9-7. There's the stats on the season. I'm happy with it. It's hard to be upset when you go over 500. We haven't hit double digits since week 2, unfortunately. We've had a lot of 9-win weeks. We've had like 6 9-win weeks, and we just can't get back to 10. It's right there every week. But I'm happy with it. And then we move on here to the NFL Week 14 spreads. Let me pull those up real quick. I have those here. There we go. It's loading. Sorry, my VPN is making sure the website's safe. There we go. Pulling it up. All right, we're going to zoom in here so you all can see everything. Cool. Pull it up here. Boom. Add to stage. All righty. So every week we go through the full slate of games and we predict the spreads. We give our thoughts on over-unders and money line stuff, but we mainly focus on the spreads. So first game, Green Bay at Detroit. What a game for Thursday Night Football.
Oh, I know.
I mean,
I've been saying it all week, or not all week, all season,
Yeah.
that their Thursday night games have gotten so much better than
So
what
much
they were
better.
the year before.
Yeah, so much better than just they would use Thursday Night Football to promote teams that weren't good. Like in years past, it would be Jaguars Titans on Thursday night, and everybody's like,
Or
yeah, Thursday Night
Saints
Football.
Giants on
Yeah,
Thursday
it's like,
night.
oh, they suck. Well, I don't want to watch that game. And now they're putting real games on there, and they're like, oh, people want to see real games. So they used to use Thursday Night Football as like an excuse to get the bad teams primetime games, but now they're giving real teams the spotlight, and people are liking it. Weird. But moving on, we pick a spread, and then we give it a star rating of 1 through 5. 5 being it's a lock, 1 being I'm not confident in this, stay away. I'm going to take Green Bay in a 2-star plus 3.5. I think it's going to be a close game. They beat them by 10 the first time. I don't think Green Bay is going to throw the ball as much. I think, if I remember correctly, Josh Jacobs had like 10 or 11 carries for 95 yards in the last game. They just stopped using him for some reason. So I think the Green Bay Packers will run the ball. The Lions are super beat up along the D-line. I have very, very high hopes that Green Bay will win this game, but I also think they can make it a 3-point game regardless.
Yeah, so on my side that I was on, I saw a 3-point spread, and if that was the case, I was going to lead towards the Lions. Given that half point, I do think that this could easily be a field goal game, and if the Packers play the way they have been the last few weeks, actually putting up a bunch of points, this could be a really fun game to watch. I'm probably going to take the Packers plus 3.5, and I'm kind of right there with you. I want a 1 or 2 star it because I'm not super confident in it, but if I was leaning towards
either way.
Yeah, if I'm leaning towards anything, I would probably lean towards them plus the points.
Yeah. All right. Next up, Jags Titans. I'm gonna take the Titans minus 3.5 here. Jacksonville's gonna be starting Mac Jones. I think Tennessee's offense has been playing well. I like the Tennessee Titans at home to win this game. 3 stars.
Oh, a game that really nobody cares about.
Yeah, seriously.
I'm going for Jacksonville here. And the reason why is because Mac Jones came into the game last week and he did not play bad at all. He 20 for 32, 235 yards, 2 TDs, a 105.6 passer rating. I thought he did just fine. He held them into that game. They only lost by 3 to the Houston Texans. I think Mac Jones is going to come in, play pretty well, and I'm going to take that Jacksonville spread, and I'm going to 3-star it.
All right. Opposite sides of the border here for us. All right, we got Jets at Dolphins. I'm going to take the Dolphins minus 6.5. It's a lot of points, but they're at home. The Jets are a really bad football team right now. There's going to be a lot of points. I kind of like the over even, but I am going to take Miami. I could see this being a 31-23 game for sure. So I'm going to take Miami minus 6.5 in like a 1-star though, because I'm not super confident on it. I wouldn't bet on it myself.
Yeah, I mean, you're giving the Dolphins a whole week to finally warm back up a little bit from the cold weather that they're terrible in. But yeah, I'm taking the Dolphins minus 6.5. The Jets are just a dumpster fire right now. I'm gonna 2-star it though.
That's
because it is a lot of points and it is a division game.
It is a lot of points. All right, Minnesota hosting the Atlanta Falcons. We got the Kirko Chains game. I mean, Kirk Cousins coming back to Minnesota. Lots of vibes and feelings for me personally. So it makes it really hard for me to, on paper, Vikings minus 5.5 should be a 4-star bet. But I'm going to minus 5.5 Vikings, and I'm going to take it on a 1-star just because it's Kirk, and it would be the most Vikings thing ever to make this a late field goal game. I just hate everything about it. So I'm going to take Minnesota, but I'm only going to 1-star it.
I think between both teams, this game is going to mean so much more to Kirk Cousins than anybody else.
It's his Super Bowl. It is literally his Super Bowl.
And I think he's going to come out and he's going to have an excellent game. I don't know if they win, but I do think
it scares me.
I do think that Kirk Cousins is going to try to keep it as close as he can. I'm looking. Yeah, I'm going to take the Falcons plus 5.5, and I'm going to 2-star it.
It really worries me because Kirk Cousins has been playing so terribly the past 3 weeks. He's gone 3 straight weeks without a touchdown pass, and that just the Minnesota Vikings luck just screams a 4-touchdown game. Yep. Like it worries me a lot. The defense just completely disappears for one whole game. It's like a 28-30 victory for the Falcons, and I'm pissed. So, all right, Saints at Giants, another game nobody cares about. I'm going to take the Saints -5 because the Giants are a terrible team. I'm going to 3-star that. Pretty cut and dry for me.
Yeah, same. The Giants have so many problems with their quarterback right now. I guess Drew Lock is – I mean, I know that Drew Lock is their starting quarterback right now, and I'm going to definitely take Carr over Lock any day of the week.
Derek Carr's been playing pretty well this season.
Yeah, Derek Carr. Yeah, whenever he's healthy, he plays pretty well. So I'm going to take the Saints -5, and I'm going to 3-star it.
Yeah, like it a lot. All right, Panthers at Eagles. Man, I'm going to take the Panthers plus 12.5. They took Kansas City to 1 score. They took the Bucs to 1 score, and I have faith that Bryce Young is going to continue to ball out, and they're going to take the Eagles to less than 2 scores for sure. If you can tease that to 14.5, 5-star that, and I'm going to 4-star the 12.5.
Yeah, I actually like that take pretty well. The Eagles, though, be careful. They currently have the number 1 defense when it comes to total yards allowed right now.
Yeah.
But I do think that's a whole lot of points, and the Panthers have been showing that they can stay competitive in a lot of these games.
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah, I'm going to take the Panthers plus 12.5, and I'm only going to 2-star it. If you can get some more points on that, I would probably 3 or 4-star it.
I mean, this is egregious. 7-14.
Yeah.
7-14. That's egregious.
In an NFL game?
In an NFL game is egregious. All right. We got Browns at Steelers. I'm going to take the Cleveland Browns plus 6.5. Jameis has proven going in last week that, Denver Broncos have a top 5 defense. He went in there and put up the fucking points on them. Like, they have no problem scoring points right now. And if they wouldn't have started Deshaun Watson for half the season, I think they would be in a way better spot. I'm going to take Cleveland plus 6.5. I still think Pittsburgh wins, but probably in like a 24-28 ball game.
So here's my thing with this, is that they played, 2-3 weeks ago?
Yep.
Cleveland got the best of them.
Yeah.
I think Pittsburgh is going to be pissed off. They're not going to let them come back, especially in their own house. They're not going to let them even have a chance in this game. I'm going to take the Steelers minus 6.5, and I'm going to 3-star that.
All right. We got Raiders at Bucks. I mean, I'm taking Bucks minus 6.5, 3 stars.
So everybody knows that I love Baker Mayfield.
The Baker Train conductor.
But my reason why I'm taking the Bucks spread in this is because the Raiders just played a very tough fought game against their rival, the Kansas City Chiefs. I think they're still probably going to be a little tired.
Emotionally drained.
Emotionally drained. Give me the Buccaneers minus 6.5, and I'm going to 3-star that as well.
I like it. Like it a lot. All right. This is my game of the week. Seahawks at Cardinals. I think this is going to be a fantastic game, and I'm going to take the Cardinals minus 2.5. That Cardinals defense is for real. The past 3 weeks have been on fire, or 4 weeks now, have been on fire. They've been balling. Let me see if I can pull up their stats here. They've just been playing really well. They stifled the Vikings for the whole first half of our ball game. See if we can pull up the stats here on them. Give me 2 seconds here. Come on. Nope. Oh, there it went. So, yeah, they are currently 17 or 11th in defense, but over the past few games, they had only given up 9, 6, 16, and they gave up 23 to the Vikings. But the Vikings had a huge comeback. They were down 19-6 with 3 minutes left in the third quarter. So, this Arizona defense has been balling out. I think they play really well. I think they're going to get a win at home against the Seattle Seahawks. So, for that reason, 4 stars, Arizona Cardinals minus 2.5.
So, this is basically a battle for first in their division.
Yeah.
If the Cardinals win, they're tied, and then they should be tied with Seattle. Who won the? Oh, they did lose. So I don't know. I don't know if they would take the win or not, but it would definitely help them get up to first. But I think that Seattle is not going to let them do that. I think Seattle is going to take this game plus 2.5. I'm gonna I'm gonna 3-star that.
3-star Seattle plus 2.5. All right. Now we have Bills at Rams. I'm taking the Bills minus 4.5. 3 stars, 4 stars even. Go to the bank with that one. That's going to be the Rams in the middle of the season had a good little run. They beat the Vikings with the first game with Puka and Cooper cut back. They looked really good offensively. They're not that team anymore right now. They have not looked that good, especially defensively lately. And for that reason, Buffalo is on fucking fire. They have not. So I did some research over the week, and they have not. So, win percentage, like per wherever you're at in the game, the win percentage charts that they have. You seen those? Spoon?
Yeah.
So the win percentage, they have not lost a quarter in the win percentage, so been below 50% for a full quarter in 7 straight games. Like they have been, they're on fire. Buffalo minus 4.5, 4 stars.
So the Rams have not won a game at home since they beat the Vikings.
Yes.
They have lost 2 straight at home. They lost to Miami. They lost to Philly. They are good on the road, but for some reason they just can't get it done at home. I don't think they're going to get it done here either. I'm taking the Bills with the spread, and I'm going to 4-star that as well. This is a game where I see the Bills just beat up on these average to bad teams. Absolutely beat them up. So I can see the Bills winning this by, 2 touchdowns easily.
Yeah. I could for sure see a 34-10 win. No problem.
Yep.
So, all right, Bears at Niners. I'm taking the Niners minus 3.5. They're banged up. They're hurt, whatever you want to call it. I don't think the Bears are going to, somehow be a brand new team, even though they do have a new coach. I just don't see it. That locker room is too discombobulated after everything they've been through. I'm going to take the Niners minus 3.5. I'm only going to 2-star it, but I'm still going to take the Niners.
Yeah, I could see this game being a close one for sure. Yeah, I'm just not confident with the Bears at all.
Yeah.
So I'm going to lean towards the Niners, and I'm going to 3-star it. I'll give it that.
Okay. I like it. All right. NBC and Peacock has the Chargers at the Chiefs. Man, I'm taking the Chargers here plus 4 because this could easily be a field goal game. A field goal game. And I think the Chargers have a real shot to win this game. So now would I bet the money line on the Chargers? Probably not, but I think they have a chance.
Yeah, I mean the first game they played them super close the whole time. Let me pull that game up real quick.
I'm gonna 3-star it. I'm gonna 3-star mine. I'm gonna 3-star that.
Yeah, I mean they took the lead at the beginning, and they scored 10 points in the first quarter and never scored again. Their offense is obviously a little bit better than that was then.
Yeah.
They woke up a little bit. So I'm gonna take the Chargers plus 4, but I'm only going to 2-star it.
That's fair. All right, Monday Night Football, Bengals at Cowboys. Sorry, Spoon, we're taking Cowboys minus 5.5 here. The Bengals defense is not good, but the Cowboys offense isn't good, and the Cowboys defense isn't good, but the Bengals offense is elite. They're gonna put up some points. I don't know if you guys can hang in there with that.
Oh, probably not. Honestly, so you did say the Cowboys minus 5.5. I'm assuming you meant.
Or sorry, Bengals minus 5.5.
Minus 5.5.
Sorry.
Yeah. So this total is screaming over to me already, and the reason why is because the Bengals are going to put up points. You ain't got to worry about that. But I do think the Cowboys could put up a few points on this awful Bengals defense. But I do think the Bengals they're gonna cover minus 5.5 easily. I think I'm gonna 4-star that.
Okay, 4 stars. You heard it. 4 stars on the Bengals, and that is the entire week 13 slate. I mean, I don't have any major problems with any of those picks. I know you obviously don't. Now, before we end the show here, I have a little talking point. I told you recently I had a hot take for the show.
I've been waiting all day to hear it.
And this hot take is a hot take. I mean, red hot, spicy, like gonna set the world on fire take. Are you ready for this take?
Yep.
Sam Darnold is playing better football than Josh Allen.
Okay.
And that is going to come across super biased. But
It already has.
Yeah, no, I agree. When I said it to myself, I was like, okay, you're being a homer. Shut up. But then I looked at the stats and I looked at the games and I looked at everything and I tried to talk myself out of this. I tried for 3 hours last night to talk myself out of this. And then I just put the stats together. And here's the stats. Here's the stats right here. You have Josh Allen and you have Sam Darnold. I mean, you have it right there in front of you. The stats say Sam Darnold's playing better football than MVP candidate Josh Allen. Yes, Josh Allen has 2 more total touchdowns. And the turnovers are the biggest thing, in my opinion, right? Sam Darnold's got twice as many turnovers. That's the biggest thing against him. But Darnold wins every other major category. Josh Allen, because of the rushing yards and the per touch ratio, he gets yards per touch, but only by 0.3. Josh Allen, his team is 9th in yak. Vikings are only 22nd. That means Sam Darnold has over almost 600 more air yards on the season. His average depth of target is farther. Total yards is farther. I mean, you name it. And Sam Darnold's got better weapons. JJ, obviously. TJ Hawkinson, obviously. Way better weapons. And then I got one other thing I want to show you here.
Yeah, that was going to be my argument. I'm like, I promise you, dude, you put Josh Allen on that Vikings.
Yeah. And I'm not saying that he's a better player overall. I'm saying he is currently playing better football.
Like, we would probably be having the conversation right now that the MVP is going to go to Justin Jefferson or Josh Allen. I don't know which yards would be more crazy, but I do believe that Josh Allen would
be insane.
Josh Allen would be getting the football to Justin Jefferson so much more than what.
I don't think that. I don't think that. JJ's second in the league in receptions. That'd be hard to. It's hard to force feed it more than Sam Darnold already does. He force feeds JJ the ball quite a bit. And Kevin O'Connell calls plays kind of different. He schemes certain players open at certain times. But I got one more thing I want to show you that. Okay. This looks very confusing upon first glance, and I'll explain what this is.
I got to make this larger so I can see it.
Yep. So this is game percentage, the game percentage charts I was talking about either. So This yellow line is the percent chance to win. The middle of each graph is 50%. The bottom and the top are 100% for that team. So this first one right up here, we'll zoom in. Right. So we have the Jets and we have the Vikings, right? Jets versus Vikings. This is the percent chance the Vikings had to win at that point in the game, wherever you pick a dot along that line. So at halftime, they were at a roughly 80% chance to win that game. So, and this is like opponents for the Vikings and the Bills. Okay. So the Vikings had a better game versus the Jets than the Bills did. The Bills had a better game than the Vikings against Jacksonville. The Vikings had a better game against Tennessee than Buffalo did. The Bills had a better game against San Francisco. The Vikings, better game against Rams, Houston. And then who's this right here? Oh, Arizona. That one's kind of a tie for me. You tell me what you think, okay? Here's Buffalo's. They lose the first quarter pretty much. They come back a little bit. Arizona takes it till halftime, and then they kind of run away with it. The Vikings were up and down with them, and then they took the second and the third and most of the fourth, and then we took it away at the last second. I marked it as a tie, but I'm okay with giving it to Buffalo if you think Buffalo wins that one.
I think Buffalo wins that one. They control. I think they controlled more of the game.
That's fair.
The Vikings hardly controlled that game against Arizona at all.
That's fair. That's fair. It was very back and forth in the first half. Arizona had a lot of the second half. I'll give that. Like I was willing to do that. And then Buffalo had a better game against the Colts than we had. But that's only that's 3 for the Vikings, 4 for the Bills. So it's kind of weird. The Vikings and the Bills will have 10 like opponents this year, which is super random, but they've already played 7 of them. And the Vikings are 7-0 and the Bills are 6-1. So they've played very similar schedules. Sam Darnold is playing better football. And I'm not saying he's the better player. Like if you put Josh Allen in this position, Josh Allen wouldn't be doing more. I'm just saying that given the positions they're in, Sam Darnold is doing more currently. And that's a crazy hot take because like nobody is talking about that. And it sounds super biased, but the numbers don't lie here. And
I think that's a super hot take.
it is a super hot take. It is a super hot take. But what about what I just told you in any way am I wrong about? Like I'm not trying to like make this a like ironclad take. I'm looking for like feedback on this because I was so stunned and like looking at this like this can't be right. Like this can't be like they can't be on a similar level right now, but they are.
I mean, when you look at stats wise, yeah, they're on a pretty similar level, but I don't know.
I mean, team success, they're on a similar level. I mean, the defenses are similar. The yardages, everything.
I just think when it comes to the weapons, I think the Vikings have much better weapons than what Josh Allen currently has. So I think that's
I agree.
That's what sets him away.
I agree with that. But my counterpoint to that is Sam Darnold has 600 more air yards than Josh Allen. So Josh Allen's weapons are doing more on the short passes and getting downfield and creating plays for themselves than the Vikings weapons are. And we've been without TJ Hawkinson almost the whole season. We've only had him back for 4 weeks. Jordan Addison's missed 4 games. I mean, JJ's been healthy all season, so there's that. Not trying to take that away, and not saying
JJ is literally the number one best receiver in the NFL.
Not trying to take that away. Not trying to take that away. I'm just saying that Sam Darnold, in his current position, I mean, the dude was a certified bust before this season. Like we can agree on that, right?
Yeah, I mean, everybody wrote him off, including myself.
Everybody wrote him off, and he is playing Josh Allen level football. Like if I had told you. Like, you'd have called me fucking the biggest homer on the planet.
So here's another thing why I don't think you should be looking at stats on this. So how many of those games, whenever it comes down to the fourth quarter, are the Vikings still throwing the ball, and Buffalo's like, oh, we're just going to run the ball. We have a 15-point lead. We have a 20-point lead.
So in these games?
You got to think about that as well, because they literally just came off a... Let me see.
So hold on. Let me look here.
I know it was the snow game, but
2,
Josh Allen hardly threw the ball.
3, 4. 4 of the games that I just showed you guys, the Bills had a 99% chance to win the game in the fourth quarter. So that to me signifies like they wouldn't have to be throwing the ball that much. The Vikings have it in 1, 2, 3.
But that's
4,
also like opponents and only
5.
Like opponents. So how many of the other games?
So the other games I don't know. I know that
because the Vikings have been playing a lot of teams pretty close recently.
Yes. So the Vikings have played, other than the like opponents that you saw on screen, the Vikings have also played the Giants, the Packers, and the Bears. The Bills have played the Chiefs, the Dolphins, and the Ravens. So the Bills have 2 really tough games. The Vikings only have 1 in Green Bay. So the strength of schedule does go to the Bills by a game, I think. And I don't know. It's like a teeny bit harder for the Bills, but Sam Darnold's playing a teeny bit better than Allen. So I think they're on the same level. But it's just wild to me that Sam Darnold's even playing to that level. Like, I'm not trying to sit here and say Sam Darnold is a better player than Josh Allen. Please don't take that from this. That's not what I'm saying. I'm just saying that it's insane that Sam Darnold is playing up to a level in which Josh Allen is on. That's more so what I'm trying to say.
Because, like, I'm looking at it, and, like, besides the first 3 weeks where the Vikings really just dominated the Giants, the Niners, and then Houston, every single game has been pretty close. There's only
but a lot of those were garbage time. You can't, I don't put any stock into, like, the Jets win was a garbage time. The Packers win was garbage. The Packers never held the ball with a chance to win the game. Like, they never had a chance to actually win the game. They just scored a touchdown late, or two touchdowns late to make it a close game. Like, a lot of those games have been garbage time. The Tennessee game is one that sticks out to me. That's like a really
That was
bad game.
that was one of the only ones that y'all did win by more than single possession. So
The Tennessee game?
yeah, that was the only one that y'all
Am I
won.
thinking of Jacksonville?
No, y'all won by 8. So I mean, no, y'all won by 5 against
12,
Jacksonville.
12 to yeah,
12-7, and then
12 to 7. That's what I was thinking of. Sorry.
Yeah. And then Indianapolis, y'all won by 8, which I still consider that one possession.
Yeah, I agree with that. And we played terribly in the first half against Indy. I'll be the first to admit that. But I mean, Sam Darnold just became the third ever Minnesota Vikings quarterback to have 100 passer rating in 10 or more games. The only other quarterbacks to ever do it were Dante Culpepper and Brett Favre, and they each did it once. Like, Sam Darnold's balling the fuck out right now. Like, I can't talk about it.
I know you're
highly.
happy. I know you're happy. You picked up a quarterback that everybody was just not okay with, and look at what he's doing. He's doing good. We get it.
It's crazy. I just don't understand it. Because like I watch the games and I'm never like, oh god, this dude's an all-star. This dude's in the MVP race. Like I never look at it and watch it and think that. But then when you look at the numbers, it's clear he should be. But all right, that was my hot take. That was the hot take I wanted to get off my chest. I appreciate you for listening. And that moves into the next. I had to do it. I said it last week that I couldn't do it because it would be too homerish, but we're going to do Sam Darnold for the Film Friday episode. Film Room Friday will star Sam Darnold this week. We're going to break down the tape. We're going to see what he did well, see what he didn't do well. We're going to go over all that and more. Spoon, you got anything to add before we hop off here?
Nope.
All right. We'll see y'all next time.